This past month, in Shaarei Tzedek Hospital in Yerushalayim, a record was broken. 1,823 babies were born, most ever. It brings to mind the pasuk describing the Jewish people in Mitzrayim, that Ka'asher Ya'anu Oso Kein Yirbe V'chein Yifrotz, the more they oppressed us, the greater we became. But this parsha, Parshas Vayera, is the parsha about the first Jewish baby, Yitzchak. And of course, Hashem commands Abraham to do the unthinkable, to take the one Jewish baby, the entire Jewish future, and bring him back to his Creator. And when Abraham passes this test, Hashem says, Yan ki asisa es hadavar hazeh, because you did this, because you were prepared to take the Jewish child, the Jewish future, for me, I guarantee that Jewish child. I guarantee that Jewish future for all time. From here, explains the Ramban, comes the promise of the eternity of Klal Yisrael and their ultimate triumph. Ki harba arba ez zaracha, v'yirash zaracha es shar sonov, that you will have many children, like the stars, like the sand, and they will ultimately overcome their enemies. Now, what is it about the sand? The stars we've had before, Kekochvei Hashemayim, but we have this new metaphor, Kachol Asher al Sefas Hayam. Usually, we understand this means that there's a lot of sand, a lot of small grains, and there will be so many Jewish people. But if that's all it meant, why would it need to say al Sefas Hayam, on the edge of the sea? Just say Kachol, like sand. All sand has that property, a lot of grains of sand. Kachol Asher al Sefas Hayam is specifically the beach. What is special about the beach, the sand that is on the edge of the sea? For 5 years, my family and I lived in Northern California, near the coast. When we would take our young daughter to the beach, to the coast, at first she was terrified because she was standing on the sand. It was this thin little strip of sand, and you're looking out at this vast ocean, tempestuous waves swirling, and they're coming at you. The waves are rising up, and they're coming right toward you. And to the little girl, it looks like they're going to come and swallow you up. And so she would run the other way, until eventually she got older. We were able to help her realize that they break. The waves dissipate. They crash when they reach the shore. Many of us, looking around the world today, we see this yam, this vast sea of hatred. We see it on college campuses. We see it in Europe. We see it in unprecedented waves across the world. And we feel so outnumbered. We're a small little thin strip of sand. But the promise is Kachol Asher al Sefas Hayam, that just as this sand, the beach, is guaranteed to stop the waves, they will break when they reach its shores, so too will all of these attacks stop and not be able to overtake the Jewish people. That explains the Kli Yakar, is the promise of Kachol Asher al Sefas Hayam. As the pasuk says, Kol mishbarecha v'galecha alai avaru, the waves break when they reach me, when they reach the sand. This is why Yaakov, in a few parashas to come, when he's preparing for battle with Esav, and he davens to Hashem before the battle, he says, Hashem, you promised V'samti es aracha kechol hayam, that your children will be like the beach. Why did he pick that promise? He could have said about the stars. but it's because it's this quality of being the beach, of being resistant and being able to break the attacks of the enemy that is in this promise of Kachol Asher Al Sfas Hayam. And the pasuk continues, V'yirash zaracha es shar oivav. Not only will they be Kachol, will they be the beach that breaks the attack, that stops the enemy from attacking, but they will also not only be immune from that, but overcome the enemy. V'yirash zaracha, overcome the enemy with the Geula Shlema. B'meher v'yameinu amen. I just want to mention about the Baal Simcha today. He's the kind of person who is like Avram Avinu in this parsha. If he sees a challenge, something that Hashem wants him to do, he says, Hineni, I'm right there. He comes one day and he sees there's a shir before Shachar, 6 in the morning. Boom, the next day he's there, and he's there every day without fail. Hineni, I'm there. He walks on the other side of town. If tomorrow there was a challenge where it became clear that Hashem wanted you to go on a hike 10 miles into the wilderness, to go to the top of a mountain, it was dangerous, he'd already be halfway there. Hineni, I'm ready. And as we see with Avraham, when someone is ready with that dedication and that commitment to Hashem, Hashem repays in kind. Avram was ready with that commitment of the whole Jewish future. Hashem guarantees him that future. Hashem tzilch, Hashem reflects what you do. And so the Baal Simcha today, sponsored the Kiddush today, him and his family, be repaid in kind, kiflei kiflayim, many times over, with bracha and hatzlacha and nachas from all his children.